All right, rock and roll. Welcome to Scorched Earth. I'm your host, John. And if you could kindly hit that like and subscribe button, it means a lot to us. And here we are. We welcome sinner and saint, friend and foe. Everybody's welcome under the umbrella. And if you're with us, that's cool. And if you're against us, prepare to be educated. All right. And here we do. If you're feeling a little frisky, go ahead and leave some comments. I always like the trolls. I always like the adversarial people. I always like to see what they got to say. And here at Scorched Earth, we're getting more people, and it seems like we're trying to offer something that legacy media doesn't. We're trying to give you a more unabridged view of what the world is, and maybe a little more unvarnished, and maybe a little more raw. I'm tired of the corporate world. It seems like they're too tied into the money. They're too betrothed to other guests and what they can get out of something. It's all transactional. There's nothing honest. There's nothing sincere. And I think that's why you're seeing the growth of podcasts. All right. So here we are. We're taking no prisoners, telling no lies, and we're off and running today. And let's burn it all down. All right. So we got Health and Human Services Director, Secretary Robert Kennedy testified before the Senate, and he had some really interesting comments. Kennedy defended the department's workforce. Yeah, right. Sure. So far this year, there have been $40 billion in cuts, which have reduced his budget by 27%. NIH, which is an arm under HHS, has had its budget cut from 47 billion to 27 billion, almost in half. And the NIH does a lot of things. It does a lot of really great research. It's basically the research arm of HHS, and it suffered catastrophic cuts this year. And Senator Patty Murray of Washington in the Senate today told the story of her constituents who had been denied or kicked out of research programs for cancer research. And she pointedly asked Robert Kennedy, "Are clinical research trials being cut?" And he says, "Not to my knowledge," which is just total bullshit, right? He knows they are. You don't cut a budget in 50%. I mean, what are you doing? Getting a better deal at Staples on paper clips? I mean, where are you finding the money, right? So Bob, Crazy Bob is what we're going to call him for the rest of this segment, bought out the Whopper. He said his opinions on vaccines are irrelevant. This guy is the chief health strategist in the United States. This isn't some cat down at the corner store. This is the guy plotting the health direction of the United States for the next 4 years. Think about that. And he says his views on vaccines he cannot defend. They're irrelevant. They don't matter because he's too much of a pussy to actually say what they are. We all know what they are. He doesn't believe in them. And if you're the 700 people who've been infected with measles in West Texas, hey, good luck. Keep drinking the Kool-Aid from Crazy Bob. Then he really went off the deep end. He told Patty Murray, "I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me." What the fuck is that? He's the director and the strategist for our healthcare in the United States. We shouldn't be taking medical advice from him? What the hell? We go to Doogie Howser? We're going to go to Doug Ross of ER? I mean, they probably are more qualified than he is, but what are you going to do, right? He is the guy who decides the cuts, the way that they do clinical research, the different programs they invest in, and we shouldn't take medical advice from him? What an idiot. Oh my gosh. When I saw that today, I just wanted to goddamn vomit. It just really wanted to vomit. All right. So the next story we got Trump is claiming victory against China in the tariff war. But let's dig into it a little deeper. you know, this may come as a shock to a lot of you. Sometimes he fibs or goddamn lies. How about we say that? So the tariffs Trump started out with on Liberation Day were 145%. China retaliated with 125%. Tick tack, tick tack, tick tack. Then there was a stalemate. No ships came across the ocean for 3 weeks. Okay. Now, after 3 weeks, it seems like Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary, went to him and said, "Hey, you're starting to hurt your own voters, the truck drivers, the longshoremen, the people who are your base." Now Don had to all of a sudden send Scott over to Geneva to get the framework of a negotiation, right? Since his inauguration, Trump has issued more new or revised tariffs on more than 50 items, 50 times, right? And with at least 12 of them that were altered or reversed within 2 days of being issued. Yeah, he really knows how to stand his ground, right? So now the actual tariffs after Geneva, after we quote unquote got that big deal, of course the deal has to get approved by Congress. That usually takes 12 months to 18 months, right? But let's not deal with the legal details here, right? The actual tariffs that came out of there are 18%, not the 10% he claims. Before this, they were 2.5%. Guess who negotiated that? That was Don himself in 2017. And Biden, obviously, he was swamped with inflation. He sure as hell wasn't going to raise anything on anybody. And because we did have low tariffs, our standard of living went up demonstrably. But nobody talks about that, right? It's always a zero sum game, right? So honestly, what American company is going to invest in American resources when this guy is doing flip flop, flip flop, flip flop? It's like an episode of The Office, right, with Michael Scott, right? So if you think the tariff hikes are going to make things cheaper, let me give you a little lesson of Econ 101 and what American business will do. There's a great friend of the podcast. She was telling me about she went to Hallmark. I'm repeating this story for people who've heard it. Just roll with me, okay? It's going to get good. That she wanted to buy Hallmark ornaments for the Christmas time, and they wouldn't give her a price. And then she did some research, and she found out all the items were made in America. Yeah, okay, that's good. And she says, well, why can't they give me a price? There's no tariffs, there's no nothing. And I said, that's Econ 101. I said, if the tariffs rise the price of everything 25%, American business is going to raise their price 20. They're going to get market share, and they're going to inflate their bottom line, their profit ledger by 20%. That's one thing that business does. They are trying to make as much profit as possible, but they also monitor their competitors' prices, right? Have you ever went down the street and gas? Every gas station's within 5 or 10 cents of each other. What, just luck? Wow, what a coincidence. Right, Mobil and Shell, Gulf, they're all the same. Yeah, right. It's called collusion, but let's just act like they're all monitoring each other, okay? And that's what goes on in business. You don't go into the store and see one item 25, 30% less next to something. You just don't. Yeah, maybe you get some real brand names. You go to a high-end store. Yeah, maybe there is a little discrepancy. But for the most part, everything's within 10% of each other. That's just the economic system, right? Econ 101. Don doesn't seem to know it. All right, let's go on to the next on Don went to Wharton, but obviously he didn't attend math class. So Donald Trump yesterday announced the big deal with Qatar, where we're going to sell 160 million Boeing 160 Boeing planes to the country of Qatar. Yes, that's the one that just gave him a $400 million bribe in the form of a jet for $200 billion. Now, I did a deep dive on this, and the majority of the planes, 110 of them, are 747s, which cost $400 million. That's $44 billion. Okay? Just keep that $200 billion in your back of your head. I know you're good. You can do that. Then the next 20 are 787s, which run about $250 million. That's another $5 billion. So let's round it up. That's the way Don likes to do it into his pocketbook. That's $50 billion. So now we've got, 20 planes? 130 out of the 160 are going to cost 50. So the other 30 planes, let's say they cost 30 billion. Let's just say they're $1 billion a piece. I know they're not, but they're not stealth fighters, but let's say they are. That means $120 million is unaccounted for. Yeah. Gee, I guess we're starting to figure out how we can get a $400 million jet for free when 120 million goes somewhere, like into Fat Don's pocket. Hello? I mean, the math is the math. I went on the website for Boeing to see how much they were, because I was thinking about buying one. Yay, like and subscribe. All right. So then, Trump, after that mathematically challenged statement to the press, sat down and had tea with a terrorist jihadist who recently had a $10 million bounty on his head by the United States. God, it reminds me of the good old days when Trump wanted to invite the Taliban to Camp David. Oh, God, Donnie, we miss that guy. Interim Syrian President Ahmad al-Ashara, once known by his militant moniker of Mohammed al-Ajani, was placed on the U.S. global terrorist list in 2013 for allegedly committing suicide bombings across Syria. The U.S. in 2013 put this guy on the terrorist list. He has been on the terrorist list till this year. That was Trump's first term, too, right? He spent years fighting U.S. forces in Iraq when we were occupying that land, right? Before moving on to Syria. How many American servicemen and servicewomen did this man kill or have a part in killing? Let's just think about that for a second. Yesterday, Trump removed sanctions on his new best buddy, Syria, after 45 years of isolation. Syria has been designated by the U.S. as a state sponsor of terrorism since December 1979. Everything's good now, right? All the men and women who died? Yeah, hey, no big deal, right? Yeah, you're the president of the military. Yeah, aren't you great? In the announcement, Trump said that what I do for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, like he was doing him a favor. Gee, I guess maybe that golf deal with Qatar and the golf deal in Abu Dhabi for you, I'm sure that had nothing to do with it, right? This is also the same guy, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who killed brutally Adnan Khashoggi. Maybe we got another deal. Maybe Air Force 2 and 3 are coming for Melania and Ivanka, and then maybe 4 and 5 for Don Jr. and Eric. You know, like I said before, I don't think you need an airplane. I think you just need a hot air balloon, because believe me, Donald Trump, with all his hot air, he can definitely take care of that himself. All right. That's it today for the Scorched Earth podcast. If you could, hit that like and subscribe. And I just want to tell you all, I really appreciate you. We're all in this together. I love you all. We're going to win because we're on the side of right. We're on the side of good. And we're fighting for our democracy. All right. See you later. Come back soon to all. I can't even speak, right? To Scorched Earth. We'll see you soon.